All right. Welcome everyone to our fourth community call. And it's crazy, but we're already in April, which means we have already gone past the first quarter of the year. And thanks to everybody who is joining us today. And just so you know, this call is being recorded. So if you do decide to speak on stage, just FYI, it is going to be recorded and we will share the recording later this week. Our community calls have a rough agenda, so we will share some updates on what's been happening at Minima, some of our progress, introduce our community member of the month, and then we will discuss all things we have seen in the industry, what's been happening, and of course, all your questions. So if at that point you want to ask anything or you have suggestions you want to drop, you can feel free to raise your hand and we will get you on stage. Alternatively, you can also, of course, drop your questions into our stage questions channel at any time. And we will try to address as many questions as we can. If it's super technical questions, we might have to get back to you later, but we will definitely make sure that no question goes unanswered. And with that being said, let's kick it off. Today on stage, I am Naomi, I'm the social media manager, and I am joined by Jasmine and Luke. Jasmine, want to say a few words for those that are new to Minima about yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hi everyone, I'm Jasmine. I'm the Technical Communications Manager at Minima. And so I'm basically have been working on creating some documentation this month. So we've been putting together the Learn section of the wiki, which you might have seen on the new website. And this goes into things like a deep dive into the protocol, some of the core concepts, what transaction proof of work is, TXPOW, you might have heard that term, how you store your coins, how the chain is updated, how the mining works, creating tokens on Minima, and a little introduction to scripting as well. So that's all live now on the website, so it'd be great if you want to check that out and learn more about Minima. But on a day-to-day basis, I'm kind of a bridge between the developers and the community. So supporting the community team and feeding back to the developer team.
Mm-hmm. All right, and you, Luke?
Yeah, thanks, Naomi. I'm Luke. I'm the head of community here at Minima. And I suppose day to day, my job is being also a bridge between the community team, you guys on this call here, and everyone else within the wider community, and Minima as a business, making sure your voices are heard, and also making sure that we're listening to what you have to say to ensure that we're delivering something that you will continue to buy into.
All right, great. Jasmine, you already shared quite a lot of what you've been working on, but any progress that we've made in the last month, any updates you'd like to, share with the community?
Yeah, I think from my side, as I said, mainly focusing on the wiki. So we've been getting a lot of questions from the community, which is great. A lot of interested people about how Minimal works under the covers, and so hopefully this will answer some of those questions and start to bring in some technically inclined individuals who might be interested in developing on Minima. So really enjoyed going through that and also seeing the ambassador program really take off.
Yeah, and if you do want to go to the wiki directly, you can do that by docs.minima.global in case you want to bookmark that for yourself. And Luke, how about you? What do you think we have, the biggest updates we've had?
Oh, well, it's been a huge month, hasn't it? Like I said, we touched on the fact that there was a new website and the new APK went out. The ambassador program went live. That's been pretty big, at least in its first iteration. Something which all you guys have really jumped on. It's been really, really exciting and impressive to see how you're all engaging with it, even in its initial rollout. Also, node-wise, we are increasing the rate at which nodes are popping up. I think we went from 20k to 30k nodes over about 4-week period, and today we'll be going through 40,000 nodes, and we've done that in a space of 2 weeks. So we're kind of speeding up, we're doubling as we go, and we can't do that without all of you, doing your part, getting out there, talking about us, getting people to join and run nodes through the member get member or the referral program. And I just want to take this opportunity to those of you that are here to say thank you for all the work that you guys are doing to help us grow. It really is incredibly humbling and exciting to see how you're all engaging with us on that.
Yeah, I can just repeat that. It's definitely great to see so many people get involved, and it's also the perfect bridge to our community member of the month, and I'm gonna try to get them on stage now. So just so you know, this time it's going to be a bit different because we will have a translator with us to make sure that everybody can understand what our community member of the month has to share. And so, yeah, congrats to Alexander, who has been tremendously helpful to everybody in the, especially Ukrainian and Russian channels, who is coming new into the community and helping them get set up and answer basic questions. So that's why we decided to make him our community member of the month. And yeah, a huge thanks to you as well, Alexander. And yeah, we also have Yuri with us, who is going to be translating, so we all understand what Alexander has to say. So yeah, could you quickly introduce yourself and tell us how you found out about Minima?
Hello everyone, I'm Yuri, I'm translator, and I will just make a short translation to the Alexander. Привет, Александр, в общем, тебя представили. Спасибо тебе большое за твою проделанную работу. Если у тебя есть возможность, пожалуйста, расскажи немного о себе и как ты вообще познакомился с Minima.
Всім привіт. Познайомився з Minima на початку цього року. Знайшов відео на каналі Cryptos.
So, I found Minima project in the beginning of this year and in the channel called Cryptos.
Знайшов відео, мене найперше зацікавило можливість поставити ноду на телефон. Це здалося мені дуже цікаво.
The most interesting part was that the Minima can be installed on the phone.
Тоді я ще не зовсім розбирався в сфері криптовалюти і блокчейна взагалі. Це був один із перших проєктів, з якими я познайомився.
This day I had not so much experience in blockchain technology. Therefore, the Minima project, I would say, was the first crypto project I was involved to.
Коли я почав більше знайомитися з блокчейном, вивчати різні деталі, я ще більше почав розуміти, наскільки Minima крутий проект.
And during the time I was involved in the Minima, I found out that the blockchain solution I really liked too, and this is the Minima really showing me a lot of opportunities. Саш, я думаю, что можно остановиться. Я думаю, I think this is the answer for the first question.
Yeah, all right. That also includes the answer for the second one, which would have been that, yeah, his journey into the blockchain space. So it was really Minima the first blockchain he ever came across?
Yes, correct. It was the first project in the blockchain in the sort of industry. Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so then the next question is, what would you build on Minima if you could build anything?
So, Alexander, что бы ты построил такого на Миниме? Что бы ты хотел видеть в проекте Minima?
Я думаю, було би круто і цікаво, якби на Minima були GameFi проекти.
Okay, probably you heard that the word gamify. Alexander, Alexander interested in gamify project based on and built on Minima. I hope that his wish come through.
Well, yeah, maybe he should talk to Joshua, who's already building a game in our community, and I think we will just see more and more games being built. So maybe one last question to close it off, because he also said it's the first blockchain project he got involved in. What excites him most about Minima?
Sure. Саша, что тебе больше всего нравится в проекте Minima?
Напевно, те, що це вперше в своєму роді. Такі от насправді така велика децентралізація. І застосунок, який планується зробити, має бути настільки корисним, що не потрібно буде взагалі використовувати різні речей.
So Alexander is really he likes the idea of the big decentralization that Minima can bring and brings to the world, and he think that using Minima probably in the future just don't need to have kind of other blockchains. I mean, the Minima can cover all the quite a lot of things in the blockchain now.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you so much, both, Alexander, for being such an involved community member and really helping everybody new joining to essentially understand what we're all about, and also to Yuri for translating for us. That's been pretty awesome. And yeah, congratulations again. And I think we're going to open the floor to everybody because I already see a few requests to speak. Yeah, thanks, Alexander, and Yuri, you are free to leave the stage or stay on. Okay, and since we already have a request to speak, I'm just gonna, Dima, I'm gonna get you on stage and let's see. Hi, Dima.
Hello, guys.
Hello.
How
Hello.
can I help?
I was started Minima with Alexander, and he's our legend in our root chat and Ukrainian chats.
Ah, that's amazing.
Yeah. We like family in your project. Yeah.
Oh, that's really great to hear.
Yeah. For me, Minima, it was like also start in crypto, like ambassador, and it was like first video on my YouTube channel in ambassador program too. And it's really cool project with which I really loved because it's really interesting idea with this decentralization. And it's like I also think that projects like Bitcoin, it's not really decentralized, and but Minima, it's really like new technologies in our sphere, new thinking. That's why I love it.
That's great to hear. Thank you so much for sharing. And actually, we do have a few general topics we want to cover as well, and a few of them also touch up on decentralization. But maybe to all of you here, are there any specific news or trends happening in the last months in crypto that you have observed and you found interesting? Maybe Jasmine, anything that comes to mind where you were like, oh?
I mean, the biggest thing that we've seen recently is this this hack with the Ronin sidechain with Axie Infinity, and to me it just feels like there's so many of these kind of exploits now that are happening as a result of decentralization being sacrificed, and it just goes to show that the more centralized you are, the more fragile you are to these attacks. And I think, well, I hope people are starting to realize that.
Yeah, it's really cool.
That's true. I mean, for the Ronin hack, it was really just 9 validators, and the hacker managed to get 5 signatures. So yeah, that really can't be the standard we measure decentralization by. How about you, Luke? Any news that come to mind outside of that?
Well, I was just going to say that's kind of the main thing I've been looking at, really, because I've been so busy looking at this community. It's been jumping. But I think just going back to what Jazz was saying, the thing that struck me about that was actually it took something like a week before they even noticed the money was gone, which says a lot about if you're going to trust any kind of centralized entity with your funds. Like, I would hope if somebody was going to be a custodian of my money that they would notice if it had gone walkabout.
I think it was also a member of the community that pointed it out. It wasn't even them who made an announcement about it at first.
Yeah, it was something like somebody who was actually using it noticed that their funds didn't arrive and asked about it, and it was just to have been a fly on the wall of that conversation.
The largest ever hack in crypto, and the team didn't even notice.
I mean, it also goes to show that maybe people don't withdraw crypto much from their side chains because they would have noticed earlier. Yeah, I also have 2 other requests to speak, so I'm gonna continue getting them on. Olka as Leisure Network, you should now be invited to speak. And yeah, I mean, there's been quite a lot of news in DeFi, but definitely the Ronin hike was one of the biggest. Hi Olka, welcome.
Hello, welcome.
Hello.
Oh, okay. That was a short visit. Let's try the next person. We also have Martinez, and then I think we will go and take a look at some of the community questions we've received in advance.
I wanted to ask one question again, can I?
Yeah, of course. Go ahead.
I wanted to ask, Minima blockchain will be enough powerful to make different hard projects. I don't know how to say it. Maybe you don't understand my question.
Which type of project?
We can get our translator on stage, and then if you want to.
And I think real minimum blockchain enough powerful to make a hard project like in GameFi on it.
So will Minima be powerful enough to have like big GameFi projects and others without it going down? Is that the question?
Yeah.
Okay. Jasmine, maybe you can say a few words to that.
Yeah, I mean, so when building decentralized applications on top of Minima, we don't expect the kind of underlying blockchain, so the Minima blockchain, to be able to scale to millions of transactions per second. So that's what our layer 2 solution will be for. And then, of course, you can build kind of any application using that layer 2 technology, and that would be able to support gaming or anything, because you can have almost unlimited transactions very cheap and quickly.
Okay, cool. Really cool. Thank you.
Okay.
Right. Well, okay, then we're gonna try with Martinez now. Hello, Martinez. You are now on mute.
Hello everyone.
Hi.
I want to say thank you to everybody that you make this, and say sorry for my English. It's not my own language, but I try to explain my own. You asked Alexander what he likes in Minima, and I thought myself what I like, and I want to say that charming of this project is truly decentralization. I mean, each blockchain project what I watch now, it's centralization. I mean, the idea was another, like in your video, I mean, on YouTube. And the most charming thing is that decentralization in Minima, and if it goes, I think it will be the best blockchain in 22 or 23 year. And the second part, what I want to ask you, in my own country, I'm working like a voice actor. And I want to say I can translate the videos of Minima on Russian language in my own home studio, if you're interested.
Yeah, I think you could just drop Luke a DM,
Mm-hmm.
and then we will see how we make that happen. But thank you so much for offering. We are always trying to, of course, accommodate people in all kinds of languages. And I think you also noticed today we opened our Spanish channel, and we are only going to expand on languages. So look forward to that. If your native language isn't English and we haven't covered it yet, it's going to come. And if you do want to raise another language to us, feel free to do so, and we will add it in the feedback channel so others can then also share their interest in it. All right.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. You can put me down now. I want to listen another.
No, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay. So we have one more request here by Bobon. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Paul and Luke.
Hi.
My name is Luke, and I have a question related to the referral program. As I know from time to time, crypto projects who are using the referral program have a better way of development because of the huge referrals who invited too many people and gained a lot of profit from them, and probably in future they could dump the price after listings and etc. And for me, now time it's a huge joy to see a blockchain use my referral program to evolve and extend. And so the question is, did you expect this growth of the community as we see it now? And how many members can we count now in the community?
Yeah, Luke, since you are our master of the community.
Cool, it's an excellent question. Did we expect it to grow as fast as it did? We planned for it. We hoped it would. Sometimes you never really know how something's going to go until you try and do it. But I think the reason it's happening is not just the technology, which Minima obviously is the technology, but Minima is also the network, and the network are all of you. It's the people within the community working together towards a common goal, rather than perhaps with a typical proof of work project where you are working against each other, trying to beat each other to the punch and get the mining reward, get the block reward. And I think that sort of culture that you've all built, whether it's on Telegram or within Discord, of helping each other, which you all do, I see it every day, and having fun whilst doing it, that sort of good energy, for want of a better term, it breeds other good energy. It brings people to us. They hear about us. They hear about not just what we offer, but they also hear about the environment that you guys have helped to create here, and the fun that people have. And I think that's why we're starting to see that exponential kind of growth now. It's not just about the technology, it's also about the people. So you guys here, all you guys here, as much to you are as much to applaud for the growth as much as anybody else within the team.
Glad to hear it. Wish you grow more and more.
Absolutely. And actually, you did ask, didn't you, what's the size of the community? So node runners, we're just north of 40,000 nodes at the moment. Community-wise, across all our channels, about 65,000 people and growing every day.
And what is the percentage of nodes on the mobile phones or the computers?
Great question.
What's the divide between them?
Mm-hmm. So I don't have the exact number to hand, if I'm being honest. That's something I'd have to speak to the tech team about. But last time I spoke to them, whereas we were predominantly server-based at the hard fork last year, it's now at least a third of mobile nodes. and it's growing. The number of nodes that are mobile are growing, especially since the new APK, because it is such a good interface and so easy to use.
That's good. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Luke.
Thank you.
Yeah, and to Hansa, Mike, and Herman, who I see have requested to speak, I'm going to get to you, but first I'd like to address one of the community questions we've received previously, and we get it quite a lot. So I think it's always worth repeating. So the question is about, well, if you launch mainnet and the incentive rewards stop, there's a chance that a lot of people will drop running their nodes. Is that going to badly affect the network, and will it be a problem? Have you thought about that? Jasmine, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so we're seeing quite a few people asking this question now, but I think it's important to remember, well, that the network as it is at the moment, currently we don't have any of our mini dApps released yet. So once we start getting applications built on top, once we get the wallet out there, once we start having developers building games, and we have a chat app out, etc., there'll be so much utility from the network that we hope people will want to remain running their nodes. But also, in addition to all of you guys, all of the individuals who are running nodes, we also have several partnerships lined up that are not really interested in the price of the token as such. They're more interested in the utility of the network and using the decentralized network itself. So one example that we can't announce who they are at the moment, but one kind of industry that is interested at the moment is this vehicle-to-vehicle communication. So this would be putting nodes in cars, and those cars would then be able to communicate each other using Minima's decentralized network. So we don't expect mainnet to be a kind of point where users start to drop off the network. We expect the opposite, because to get to mainnet we'll be growing exponentially. And we don't expect that to suddenly stop once we hit mainnet. We expect that trajectory to keep on growing as more and more individuals and businesses see the utility that is being built on Minima.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Anything to add from your side, Luke?
Yeah, I was just going to say there's sort of three pillars to this. There's the first that Jasmine's talking about there, which is obviously the industry buy-in, the fact that they want to use the network for the network's sake. The second is broader, wider utility that all of you will get to use, and I'm happy to say that in the coming month there should be a lot more in terms of utility coming back to you that we'll be able to talk more about in a few weeks. And then the third pillar is the incentive program itself. It's designed, as you all I'm sure aware, to sort of bootstrap that initial 1 million nodes so that we're attractive to industry. But beyond the utility that you get to use, potentially there will be announcements around the incentive program expanding. I can't say any more on that at the moment.
And on that note, I think we could also address another question that was just added to the stage question channel, and it is about how are we going to reach this 1 million? How are we going to do that, and what if we don't? Maybe also, Luke, you want to...
What if we don't? Impossible. Honestly, I'm not being trite, but between the exponential growth we're seeing from you guys, and we're only just getting going, and the potential node cap that will come from industry partners as well, it's really statistically impossible we wouldn't get to that point. But in terms of the 1 million community-driven nodes, the way that that's growing, and it's already started, is through the scheme that we offered to you guys to bring people in as a referral, and the people you bring in turn can bring people in as a referral. There's also outreach which we're doing right now, which the ambassadors are helping with in terms of bringing people to us, where we're basically going out there and talking to like-minded communities and giving them the ability to start running nodes. And we've been out to literally had agreements with 2 communities in the last week. They got going, and that helped us accelerate to 40k nodes. And this is before we've even started going out to the big PR push that's going to be coming, and also the really big communities out there that are interested and that we're lining up, who are many millions of people strong just on their own. So the growth that you're seeing now is really just the beginning.
Yeah, and I think we're also going to expand a lot more in terms of being more international and having more localized communities. So if you're in a country that we don't cover, as mentioned before, let us know. And so that eventually, hopefully, we can be in every country on the world, and maybe even in space, but that's just my personal dream.
That would be amazing. I would say we are already in over 125 countries in the world, which in and of itself is quite something.
Yeah, not a lot of blockchains can claim that for themselves. And I am going to bring the next request here on stage, which is Handsome Mike. You should now be able to join us. It's also a nice name. I wish I had that confidence. Hi, Mike.
Hello, everyone. Okay. Hello. I'm a new joiner on Match, and I have seen the report on Match that we already have more than 24 noise over on our testnet. But also I see our target is 1 million noise to hold our testnet. So it seems like we still have a long way to go. So I want to understand, do we have any planned day to make the test net to the mainnet? Or how many nodes we build up on the test net, then we will online the mainnet?
Sure. So if I talk about the growth for a second, and then maybe Jasmine, you can talk about the planned date, if that's good, cool. As I was just saying earlier on, we have the plan for growth is only just starting, but the growth rate that we already have, if we maintain it, which we will, that puts us at 1 million nodes in August. But obviously we want to achieve that sooner.
Oh, that's good news. And I want to understand, is there any way we can, or anywhere we can see the investors or who led the investment for this project?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so you can see details of the Series A investors and the other big investors on our, the logos are on our website. You can also find more detail on our Medium channel.
And you can also find them on Crunchbase. So if you're interested in that and want to see it from an external source, we are also listed there. So you can see all the VCs and investors.
Yeah, and then our estimated date for mainnet would be in kind of September, provided we have kind of 3 months with no issues.
Okay, the mainnet will online on September, right? It is the formal notice. We already have the formal notice, right?
Yeah, so we expect in September 22.
September 22. Okay. Okay, that's all my questions. Thanks all.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm gonna get Herman Radin on stage. And let's see. Hi, Herman.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Great, thank you very much for the opportunity to ask a question. So I guess my question will be useful both for experienced representatives of Minima and newbies, because observing different channels of our Discord server, I see that a drastic number of newbies have come to us during the past weeks. So, in product management, we say that each product should have its killing features and killing use cases in comparison to other products. So, my question would be, could you please list such killing use cases and killing features in regards to Minima, and so that people understand how they will be able to use Minima in comparison to other blockchains, so that they understand that, yeah, Minima is indeed what we need.
Yeah, I think Jasmine, since you've been going down the rabbit hole on Minima and features, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, Minima enables anyone to transact with anyone else on the network without going through anybody else, without going through a third-party intermediary. And so I guess like the killer applications that you're talking about is, well, the Minima network itself that enables you to transfer value freely. And then also we have this additional information transfer layer, which we call Maxima. And we don't really see any other blockchains doing this. Perhaps it's because, I don't know why really, but this will essentially enable a messaging app. Think of WhatsApp, but running from your Minima app, with end-to-end encrypted messages that you can send to your peers on the network. And that is something that we think could be the killer application for Minima. So you've got value transfer and information transfer. And then as from the team's perspective, we are kind of focusing on providing the platform, and then we are looking to the developers to really build the killer applications that they want to see. It's not for us to decide what the community will want to use.
Yeah, Luke, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm going to say, Minima, it's a protocol, right? At the end of the day, it's designed to be almost like like how you have TCP/IP now in the normal internet. We envisage getting to a place where Minima can be its own internet, a real Web3, not like what Facebook or Meta would want to tell you Web3 is. And the idea, of the messaging app being a killer one, I do believe in that, because imagine if you said to somebody, you can have WhatsApp, but no one's selling your data. It's yours. Your data is sovereign, and having something that is easy to use and has real utility and real world benefit, that's the sort of thing that will drive mass adoption.
Yeah,
Thank you
and
very much.
I think it's also very powerful that you can actually run the full node on your phone. At least for me personally, as a person that's been in blockchain for like 3-4 years now, which feels like 200, that doesn't usually happen. Like they just give you a light client and say, hey, you can do transfers and whatever, but there's no guarantee that the validator actually decides to add it to the chain. So I think that's also very powerful for those probably that have been around in this space and have seen things happen, like when MetaMask and Infura happened, so that people from Venezuela couldn't transfer anymore. Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna get the next person on stage, and El Diablo voice sounds very Spanish, so let's see what they have to say.
Hello, hi guys. Unfortunately, no.
Wow.
Apologies if you were expecting more interest, a better accent. But yeah, so firstly, thanks very much for the time. And do let me know if any of the questions are irrelevant. And I missed the first 5 minutes. Let me know if it's repetitious as well. I actually had 3. So firstly, I was having a look at the sort of staking thing going on over at Catapult to start getting some tokens. I wanted to ask, is that the only sort of method that you guys are going to be using for the public sale? I noted that, around 16% of the tokens are held for public sale. So is that the whole 16% that's going out there, the 333,333 there? So that's the first question. Second question was, so you guys mentioned about the layer 2 solution. I just wanted to ask, will the layer 2 solution be structurally different to layer 1, such that it's going to facilitate a greater throughput on layer 1? Or is it just going to be the fact that by virtue of having a layer 2, it's going to allow there to be more transactions per second in the overall ecosystem? And then thirdly, I just wanted to ask that on layer 1, once the sort of blockchain history becomes larger, once there are more and more transactions and more things happening on there, if you even start getting games and stuff on there, once the blockchain history starts becoming so large, is there a risk that it starts challenging the smaller devices that it's running on, or is there a proposed solution to that? But yeah, thanks again for the time.
All right, so on the first question, because as the community team we're not so involved in the investment side, I think we're going to get back to you. But in terms of the easiest way to get tokens at the moment, it's definitely to run a node and refer people to run a node. So then you will earn 1 minimum coin every day, and then the additional rewards. The third question, we actually have a great explanation from our team member Barry on that, who is outlining how it can be that Minima isn't going to challenge the storage capacity of even small devices. So I would definitely send you there first, and then if you still have questions, you can of course anytime come back at us. And the second question I think is probably one for Jasmine, that is about layer 2.
Yeah, I could pick up the last couple of questions. So the layer 2 on Minima will essentially be, if you think of the Lightning Network on Bitcoin, that Lightning Network technology can be used on any blockchain, really. So it would look like the Lightning Network, but on top of Minima. So that just enables you to create payment channels between nodes in the network, so that you can transfer Minima from one person to another, and it goes through a kind of a route of nodes in the network, rather than having to be processed by everyone in the network. So it's just a kind of payment channel off-chain, and you could think of it like having an open tab at the bar. So the two people, however many people are involved in this transaction, will transfer funds between each other, and then when they want to settle, they'll make one transaction on the chain. And so that's how you can scale up to millions, essentially unlimited transactions per second on layer 2. Does that answer your second question?
Yeah, definitely. Very, very well. And helpful analogy on Lightning, which I'm sure most people are familiar with as well. Great, thanks for that. And on the first question, now it was mainly on the sort of on catapult.ac, where one is able to stake ATD, which is Catapult's token, then get Minima over the vesting period. But I can have a look about that on that.
Well,
Luke, maybe you want to talk.
Yeah, I was just going to say I just got a bit of information there on that. So with Catapult, they have made an investment in Mina, and the coins that they're giving out as a staking reward there, that's what they have got for their investment, and they're choosing to use that as a staking reward. So that, in terms of how they're choosing to distribute the coins that they now have, that's very much their lookout. We're not involved in that. It's not necessarily something that we've set up specifically to do that. We think it's great as a way for people to get hold of coins if they choose to, but like we always said, the best way to get coins right now is for free, and that's by running your node. And in terms of getting some sort of private sale, there should be something between TGE and mainnet, but beyond that, that's really all we can talk about at the moment.
Perfect, and absolutely agree. Definitely plan on running the node till Kingdom Come. Thanks very much, guys.
And then I could just pick up on your final question. I know we're a bit tight for time, so Luke, if you need to jump off, you can.
Thanks.
You're excused now.
So with the blockchain history, the Minima blockchain has kind of two elements to it. So you have the section of the chain which is not pruned, so that's kept in full. And then we have something called a cascading chain. And I recommend you go and have a look at the new wiki on the website, because it explains how all of this works. But the cascading chain essentially keeps a proof of all of the proof of work that has been input into the system by all of you node runners. And so that is an independent proof of all of the energy that has gone into the network. And that is compressed, so it's very compact. And then alongside that, you have a mechanism to store proof of your coins. So everyone in Minima stores their own coins and the proof that their coins are unspent. And you can think of it like a book. So everyone in the network has the spine of the book, and then they keep one page in the book that is specific to them. And then when a user wants to spend their coins, they can present their page, and everyone else in the network can check that this fits the spine. And so that's how anyone in the network can validate that someone's coins are unspent. And this means that the chain doesn't grow as Bitcoin blockchain does, for example, because it's constantly being squashed. And so we won't have that problem where no longer fits onto a mobile phone. And also mobile phones will be improved over time as well, so that their storage capacities increase. But no, Minima won't suffer from that problem.
Great, yeah, that's really interesting about the cascading chain. I'll definitely take a look into that. That sounds really interesting.
Yeah.
I'll also post the link into the stage questions or somewhere on our channel, so
yeah, and
access.
I mean, all of this tech that Paddy has used in Minima is kind of an amalgamation of technology that's already out there. So it's already proven technology. He's just put it together in a way that is unique, and he's been here since the beginning of Bitcoin. So he's seen a lot in his time. But yeah, I mean, I definitely recommend taking a look at the docs if you are keen to learn more.
Great, thanks very much.
Thank you for joining us. And yes, I see there's still people trying to speak. Unfortunately, we are a bit tight for time. But definitely feel free to drop your questions into the Stage Questions channel. And also, if there's an interest, we are open to do these community calls more frequently. So just let us know. We might start a poll in the feedback channel, Luke.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe bi-weekly or whatever works best for you guys, really. To make sure we have everybody's question answered and you know what's happening when it's happening. And yeah, thank you everybody for joining us. Just a reminder, we will share the recording as well. So if you lost a few quotes in between, that is covered as well. And yeah, just thanks a lot for joining and hope to see you soon for the next one.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.